Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to our Ellis Island lesson, where we have been learning all about the immigrants that traveled through Ellis Island to come to America. Before we continue with our last piece, let's go over our standard and our learning target for this lesson. Our standard is to quote accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from a text. So our learning target, what I want you to be able to do by the end of the lesson, is you will be able to use details from the text to support your answer to a prompt. Okay, so in this lesson, we have been working on an interactive tour of Ellis Island to see what it was like for immigrants at the time to come to America. It's given us a better understanding of the importance of Ellis Island for America today. So on the first day, we talked about the journey to Ellis Island and how they traveled by boat. And this boat was very, very different from the cruise ships that you've either taken a vacation on or you've seen on TV, or maybe you've just seen this picture up here in the corner. And we read about the journey on the interactive tour. And here's the link to that page if you want to go back and review that. And the next day, we learned about the Great Hall and the process of being questioned and inspected and how scary and overwhelming that would have been for many of the immigrants. They've never seen a room that big. They had to wait in line for hours, and many of them were asked questions in English, but they didn't speak English. And we talked about how stressful that would be to try and answer questions when you don't understand the language. So again, if you want to go back and read or look at the pictures again, you can follow this link to the interactive tour where it talks about the Great Hall. Then we talked about the health exam and how the immigrants would be so excited to finally reach Ellis Island after this long journey, and they finally make it through all the questions. But then for some of them, they still didn't get to go through Ellis Island because they were sick. And we talked about how scary it would be to be sent back to your home country, even if the rest of your family got to keep going and go into America because you were sick. So we learned about the medical exam that the people underwent on Ellis Island. We looked at the pictures, we listened to the audio, we watched the video about what it was like on this link. So again, you can go back and look at it if you need to. Okay, so today, to wrap up our lesson, we are going to talk about the Isle of Hope and the Isle of Tears. So my question to you, why do you think Ellis Island is referred to as both the Isle of Hope and the Isle of Tears? You need to post your response on our learning platform and then respond to 2 other classmates. Remember to cite the text. So you're going to refer back to the interactive tour in your response and responding to your 2 peers. So before we look at the interactive tour, let's think about what we need to do to answer this prompt. So the first thought is, what is the Isle of Hope and the Isle of Tears? So when you hear the word hope, what do you think of? Why would it be called the Isle of Hope? When you think of tears, why would someone have tears? What could possibly happen to the immigrants that would make them have tears? Okay, so let's think about these things as we look at the interactive tour. Okay, let's look back at the story. For most people, Ellis Island was the Isle of Hope. But for the unfortunate few who failed the health or legal inspections, it was the Isle of Tears. Legal detainees lived in a dormitory room on the 3rd floor. They might wait a few days or even a month. Then their case would be reviewed in the hearing room. People who were detained for medical reasons were cared for at the island's hospital or kept in quarantine. Ooh, that's a word we hear a lot now with the pandemic. Think about what quarantine means. Some were treated for weeks or even months. Eventually, a board of special inquiry would review an individual's medical report and decide whether to allow him into the United States or to send him back. Okay, so we have some pictures we can go back and look at, all kinds of good resources here. So let's go back and look at our prompt again. Okay, so our prompt says, why do you think Ellis Island is referred to as both the Isle of Hope and the Isle of Tears? So what I have made for you is a rubric to help you remember all of the things that you need to include in this prompt. You need to cite several details from the text to support your response and cite the text when responding to your two peers. So you need to have those quotation marks that let me know that you are using things that came from the text. You need to respond to at least two peers. That is part of the prompt, so you will get credit for doing that piece. So here is your rubric to look back over before you submit your responses. Now, I've also created a graphic organizer for you. Use this template to answer the prompt, then copy and paste your response to the learning platform. This is the only way to submit your work. So there is no opportunity to upload this graphic organizer. You need to copy and paste. This is just to help you organize your ideas. So here's our prompt again. Why do you think Ellis Island is referred to as both the Isle of Hope and Isle of Tears? Post your response on our learning platform. So that's where you need to copy and paste onto the learning platform. Then respond to two other classmates. Remember to cite your text in the initial post when responding to your peers. So here we have a space for you to start your response. So Ellis Island is referred to as both the Isle of Hope and Isle of Tears because here's where you need to type in your thoughts. Remember to give evidence from the text. Okay, so think about, why was it the Isle of Hope? You can answer that first and then answer, why was it the Isle of Tears? Okay, remember to copy and paste this yellow box into the platform when you are done. Then you can copy and paste one of your peers' responses here and then type your response to them. Don't forget to cite the text in this box. So you're going to put what your classmates said that you want to respond to, and then in this box you type your response. And the same thing for peer 2. Don't forget to upload the highlighted boxes to the learning platform when you are done. Okay, so you're going to upload this big box with your response and these two boxes with your response to your two classmates. Okay, if you have any questions, please reach out. I am more than happy to help. You also have all of these resources on the learning platform as well as the link to the interactive tour. I can't wait to see what everybody thinks about the Isle of Hope and the Isle of Tears.